Liam Ford had always been the definition of untouchable perfection in the art industry. A world-famous oil painter, barely 30 years old, he possessed outstanding talent, elegant manners, and a cold, distant temperament that made countless people regard him as a flower growing high on the cliff, out of reach for anyone. Every exhibition he held was fully booked within hours. Critics praised his works as unparalleled masterpieces, and admirers lined up just to catch a glimpse of his silhouette. He kept a rigid distance from all social interactions. He never attended trivial banquets, rarely gave interviews, and turned down every request for fan meetings. In the eyes of the public, Liam lived a flawless, isolated life. Untouched by the trivial mess of ordinary life, people assumed he only cared about canvas, pigment, and creation, with no softness or trivial emotions hidden in his heart. Mia Reed was a young restorer who worked in the same art museum that hosted Liam's long-term exhibition. She was quiet, skilled, and focused on repairing old damaged paintings every single day. She admired Liam's art deeply, yet she never joined the crowd of star-chasing admirers. To her, he was just a brilliant creator, nothing more than a distant idol she respected from afar. They barely spoke for half a year. Every time Mia delivered repaired art pieces to his studio, Liam only nodded briefly, his tone calm and emotionless. She never tried to strike up a conversation, never sent small gifts to curry favor, and simply finished her work before leaving silently. This indifferent but respectful attitude slowly caught Liam's attention. Unlike others who fawned over his fame, Mia saw only his paintings, not his glamorous identity. One rainy autumn afternoon, disaster struck without warning. A burst water pipe flooded Liam's private studio. Countless half-finished paintings, precious hand-painted sketches, and years of collected pigment materials were soaked by muddy water. The works he spent months polishing were stained and damaged beyond quick repair. When Mia rushed over after receiving the emergency notice, she saw the aloof painter standing motionless in the messy room, staring blankly at his destroyed creations. The cold mask he had worn for years cracked completely in that moment. His shoulders trembled faintly, and the calm self-control he clung to collapsed entirely. For the first time, Maya witnessed the vulnerable side hidden behind his perfect, unattainable appearance. The cliffside flower everyone worshipped finally showed the fragility no one had ever seen. Liam did not put on a cold front to hide his grief that day. He squatted down carefully, brushing the muddy water off a crumpled draft with trembling fingers, his voice low and hoarse. All the pride and indifference he carried in front of the outside world faded away, leaving only a creator heartbroken over the loss of his labor. Mia did not rush to comfort him with empty words. She fetched clean cloth, neutral cleaning liquid, and professional restoration tools, and knelt beside him to sort out the damaged artwork step by step. She told him gently which sketches could be salvaged, how to remove water stains without hurting the paint layers, and shared small restoration tricks she had summed up over years of practice. They spent the whole night tidying the studio together. As the rain tapped against the window, Liam slowly opened up. He admitted that his cold, distant demeanor was a protective shell. Constant praise and high expectations weighed heavily on him. He feared any small flaw would shatter the perfect image the public had built for him. He forced himself to stay unapproachable, afraid that getting close to others would reveal his ordinary, flawed self. He spoke of sleepless nights spent tangled in creative bottlenecks, of the loneliness of bearing all criticism and pressure alone, and of how tired he was of maintaining the flawless, high-flower persona everyone loved. Mia listened quietly, never interrupting, only handing him warm water when his voice turned heavy. By dawn, most of the salvageable works were sorted and placed to dry. Liam looked at Mia with genuine softness in his eyes, a stark contrast to his usual icy gaze. He thanked her not as a renowned painter speaking to a staff member, but as a man who had laid down all his outer pride, grateful for someone who saw his imperfections without judgment. Word of the studio accident spread quickly. Reporters flooded the museum, eager to capture the fallen god in a vulnerable state, ready to write articles about the collapse of his perfect image. Yet Liam refused all interviews. He chose to stay in the quiet restoration room with Mia, focusing on saving his paintings rather than hiding his flaws from the public eye. In the following months, Liam spent most of his spare time learning restoration knowledge beside Mia. He set aside his lofty identity, asking trivial, basic questions without the slightest arrogance. He no longer avoided small, daily interactions. He would bring hot breakfast for Mia in the morning, stay to help her carry heavy painting frames, and even laugh softly when she told funny little stories about restoration work. The cold, untouchable aura around him faded day by day. Visitors to the museum were shocked to see the famous painter chatting casually with a restorer, wearing simple stained overalls instead of tailored formal suits, focused on repairing damaged art instead of posing for perfect photos. The cliff flower everyone once admired from afar had stepped down from its high place, blending into the warmth of ordinary life. Liam held a special half-year exhibition later that year. Instead of displaying only polished, flawless finished works, he put the restored damaged sketches at the center of the hall. In his preface, he wrote plainly that perfection never exists. Fragility, loss, and imperfection are also parts of creation and of himself. He no longer feared letting the world see his cracks. After the exhibition closed, Liam walked with Mia along the quiet riverside as dusk fell. He told her that falling down from the godlike pedestal was not a loss, but a liberation. Before, everyone loved only the perfect mask he wore. Now, he finally had someone who liked the real him. Flawed, tired, soft, and unpolished. Maya smiled and glanced at him. The man who once seemed distant as the moon was now standing beside her, warm and tangible. He had dropped the heavy disguise of a high, untouchable flower, and in exchange gained ordinary, steady happiness that perfection could never bring. He reached out to hold her hand gently, no longer cold or reserved. The flower that once bloomed alone on the high cliff had come down to the mortal world, and found its long-awaited warmth right here beside her.